Internal controls help to protect the organisation and its assets. It is important to be able to identify and describe the risks that an organisation faces and explain why it needs effective corporate governance. Equally important is the ability to describe and implement specific internal control procedures that will help protect assets and control the organisation more effectively. Our approach here is to provide you with an overview of the theory relating to internal controls and corporate governance, and combine it with a wide range of practical examples and case studies. Failure to implement effective controls can lead to significant harm, including theft and mistakes that damage the business. The newspapers are full of stories of companies that have lost everything because of poor controls, so you need to be able to understand and implement these procedures effectively. We put in place controls in many ways. Consider the traffic in a large city. Imagine the chaos if everyone decided to act in a selfish and disorganised manner. It is actually quite amazing how smoothly so many vehicles can move around a complex environment. And there are hundreds of rules, procedures, protocols and behaviours needed to make this work well. Knowing when to stop, when to go, who to let in, when to give way, and sequencing of cars, trams, buses and pedestrians demonstrates the importance of a well-managed control system. Failure can lead to physical harm as well as inefficiency and pollution, as people spend extra time stuck in traffic instead of pursuing their normal activities. More dramatically, think about how you would govern a prison. You would want to make sure you had walls and gates in place, guards patrolling, and regular headcount checks to make sure all the prisoners are in place. Making sure prisoners don't have weapons or tools for an escape will also be necessary. Running a prison and implementing internal controls are very similar in this perspective. It is all about minimising risk and putting procedures in place to make things run safely and well. Take a moment to think about all the things that might go wrong in a small cafe. See if you can list 3 potential problems or risks that the business owners would want to manage or control. How did you go? You might have thought about theft of cash from the register by employees, or the possibility of a fire that destroys the cafe and forces it to shut down. And what about the risk of providing terrible coffee or customer service because new staff have not been trained properly? Did you also think about the risk that the business doesn't make enough sales and therefore can't pay its staff or loans and went bust? Now let's look at how we can use internal controls to help identify, manage and mitigate all of these potential problems. Firstly, we separate important jobs so they are done by different people to make sure a single person cannot do too much damage, either on purpose or by accident. Secondly, we need to independently verify important activities and events. For example, counting money at the end of the day to make sure it adds up properly. Another approach is to have physical protection of important assets, such as having a safe to store money and valuables, and having padlocks on fridges or cupboards with valuable items. Detailed accounting procedures and the use of proper documentation will help make sure funds and activity are properly tracked in the business. And finally, having policies and procedures for hiring and training staff should help ensure you have the right people on the job. These are the internal controls for a cafe, but this can be extended to consider any type of business or role within a business, including treasury operations within a large bank. Our aim is to plan and implement internal controls to ensure effective corporate governance and ultimately help the organisation protect its assets and achieve its strategic outcomes.